So within a minute or so of getting the meeting started, you do the purpose and overview of BNI. Now, here's the one that drives me crazy with presidents and reading the manual. I have seen so many presidents. This will be one of the few times I read the manual, and I do it to show why you don't want to read the manual. I see presidents so often say, "Hi everyone, welcome to BNI. Just let me tell you a little bit about the organization. BNI is the most successful organization of its type in the world. There are currently thousands of chapters in operation and more than 150,000 members. Members of BNI have passed millions of..." Okay, don't do that. But I've seen meetings done like that. The idea here with this is to just give a general concept of what the organization is all about. Don't read it. And have your leadership teams understand, your president in particular, don't read it. Just talk a little bit about the organization. BNI is a referral organization. We allow one person per profession. We get together every week. Last year we passed millions of referrals. We generated billions of US dollars worth of business for our members. This is one of our regular meetings. We meet every week to do this. So, enjoy the meeting. Put it in your own words, but you can get the concept across. Don't read it. It's better that they stumble and put their own words out than they read that. Because what happens is most people can't read and sound like they're speaking. They read and sound like they're reading. And so, now look, sometimes you can, if somebody is good at that, that's fine, but most people aren't. All right? So tell them, when possible, have it come from their own words. And there's another, we have another page in here on, what page is it with the opening comments? What is it? 460, suggested purpose and overview statements. So here's some others. And again, these are great concepts, but these are meant to give ideas, not meant to be read. One of the best presentations I've ever seen with a purpose and overview was actually given by a member, where the president said, "Would you, next week, we have a visitor's day, next week, would you be willing to do the purpose and overview?" to a member. And the member came in, and I watched this 1-minute overview of what BNI was, and it didn't use anything, not one thing, in these opening comments, and it was the best overview I've ever heard. Okay? She didn't use one thing. She completely spoke from the heart. And what she said was just so compelling. She said, "Look, I've been a member of this organization now for 5 years. I love this organization. You get a ton of business, but you know what? It's not just the business. It's the relationships that you develop with people. It's the friendships that you develop with people." And that really hit home with me a year ago when I was, and this is what she said to everybody, a lot of visitors. When I was at one of our members' offices, and I was talking to them about my business, and I got an emergency phone call. My husband had just been in an automobile accident, and it was all the way across town, and I had to jump into the car and drive, and it would take 45 minutes to get there. And I was so upset, and I told him that what had happened, and I jumped in my car and I drove across town, and by the time I got there, there were already 3 or 4 BNI members there. So he had obviously called some other people who lived nearby, and he said, well, look, her husband just had an automobile accident. So I show up, and I have my friends, my BNI friends there already to be with me in this time. And I'll tell you, my husband's okay, and it all worked out fine. But it was just amazing, because there I was all day long. I couldn't pick up my kids from school. So I called the school. I gave them the name of a couple of BNI members who volunteered to go pick up my children. And they show up. They pick up my kids. They take the kids to my sister's house. They did all of this. And then I show up at night, and there's food at my house where people brought food. She said, "I love this group. These are my friends. These are not just business associates. These are not just people I do business with. These are people that I have a relationship with. And that is why I love BNI." She said that. I thought, wow, can you write all that down and put it in here? You can't do that. It's got to come from the heart. And it's that kind of passion that somebody has that makes the overview an effective overview. And sometimes, you know, I think it's a great idea for the president to say to somebody else who maybe has a great story, would you mind talking about what BNI means to you and what it is, just an overview. And you don't worry about the facts. You know, the facts will come out. Talk about why it means a lot to you. And so it too is absolutely a hidden element, although we don't market it as one. It definitely can be a hidden element if done right.